So today, first match, Push versus GRA TM. Now, this is the format we see on Mines. A lot of times the teams overemphasize the hill, but we saw yesterday completely neglecting it is also a recipe for disaster, but so is totally committing to it. Several times we saw teams go and take the hill and get dominated. Other times we've seen them ignore the hill and get dominated. So it's not all about the hill, guys.
No, it's all about when to get the hill, because we saw Synergy just pushing up after 4 minutes and 30 seconds. They made a push up into the middle and completely ate everything that was up there.
Indeed. So now we have on the left flank here going is the T2 light tank. Very standard play, very standard positionings for them here. And I can't hear any sounds coming out of my water tanks, and I'm sure there is sounds. Zooming in. I can't hear them. Can you hear them?
I can hear them.
Okay, good.
Maybe I'm just having them turned way
Oh no, maybe I've got them just a bit low. That's okay. So we have the T2 tank in its correct position. I say correct position, very standard position. We also have the T69 guard in the middle. This is a very good position we saw a lot of tankers using. They were sitting around here and covering anything that came across the west flank. But here's the awesome maneuver going over here. I say awesome. We saw a lot of people failing over in the northeast, didn't we, yesterday?
Yeah, we did. A lot of them just decided to rush through and lose a tank very, very early up there. They actually sent T2 every single time in one set of matches instead of just going to this exact bush and just sitting there and spotting, which would have been the ideal situation. But they decided to just go through and get the enemy spotted instead from the beginning.
Mm-hmm. So we are now waiting to see what is going to happen here. The very first game of the night is often a little bit slower pace because they're not sure what to do. But you are watching from the side of Push. So this is Team Push, and on the other side is GRA TM. At least we hope that's so, because some of these guys, there's only one Push guy in this MST lineup, which is very interesting to see.
Yeah, that is very interesting, actually. A lot of mercenaries.
Yeah, and here we go. We see the first guy from Red GRA, and that's FC Dynamo.
Ooh. Yep, and I think actually he got spotted by the AMX 1390 over here. Or the T2. I'm not sure about the T2's view range, so it could be either, because they're actually just around the same amount of distance away. So good positioning.
Yeah, Mix and Red Z. Sorry, I keep wanting to read the clan talk. GRA TM has just ran into the T2 from Kavabanga of Push, but he backs away, either not spotting the T2 or is that scared of him.
Yeah, you know, when you see a scout, you usually know that the artillery won't be far behind. So I would.
No, I know. I was just joshing because the T90, so the AMX 1390 from Baratino was there to support. So if Minx had any sort of sense, which clearly he did, that there would not be alone. No scout is ever alone, and that is something clearly true here. But we've seen a lot of damage go down in the middle from artillery. Remember, GRA has the GW Panther and the Bison, so we got to be careful there. I say they've got to be careful there.
Yeah, and yeah, that stick mat just got down to, he lost over 1,000 HP. So I wouldn't say that was a very successful push to the middle, but they got the middle and they're now sitting firmly on it behind the hills, so the GW Panther can't do any damage to them.
Yep. So Dynamo's still there poking around trying to find out what's going on, and GRA are not taking any chances. They have the two artillery, so they're going to play it much slower, or at least I expect them to, because, well, Push only has the Su-26. They're the ones who should be playing the aggressive game, because the more passive they play, the higher chance they have of an artillery getting a good position or a good shot off.
Yeah, and we've seen that the AMX 1390 over on the west has actually taken some damage, so maybe the Su-26 has been been hitting something, or it has taken a few shells from the T69s, but they were in the middle, pushing up there. So I'm thinking that the SU-26 has been working a little bit over here.
Mm-hmm. Tribota should really be doing a bit more scouting work there, and the T50-2 being very passive. But we see the suiciding M2, T2, sorry, who's gone through and been taken down by the push team, who saw him coming, took him out. Not really worth it for Red GRA. He didn't do anything or really see anything new. However, there is a follow-up coming on as Amali comes in round the back of Toliem. And there's a little bit of a battle going on here. And the little exchange here. There's no support really from the teammates. However, Push does have a second gun here and able to finish it off. 1-0. But the support from Dynamo was able to finish him off. However, Push isn't going to let that happen and let him die without any sort of support. So we're going to see the backup there from Push come in and clean up.
Yeah, and we saw that. See, what was his name? Amali. He came in, and the first shot he took went straight into the track, so he was already behind in the damage dealing department there. And then the T50-2 was helping along from the side, so there was no real chance of him winning that engagement, and he should have been trying to get behind the buildings.
Colento from Red GRA have come up to the middle here to try and take down something, but a quick shot from the side of the T50-2, able to get some damage and get away. That's really big. You don't want to be taking little bits of damage here and there, because if you do, whoa, great shot from the GW Panther, taking out Branetto of Push. So that really evens the odds a little for Red GRA. They needed that. However, on the far side, we have Minx making an effort here to try and take out the T2, but taking so much damage and missing every single shot. The T2's not going to go so it's going to go down, sorry, but at what cost? Only 263 HP remaining on Minx. Back in the middle, though, Red GRA has made a move and has managed to kill with the artillery again, Tribota from Push and one other. Did you see what happened there, sir?
Yeah, I did. He, the T69 of Push, or Red GRA, was pushing up the hill, and Stigmat was actually hiding down behind the bushes, not totally falling down from the hill, but just hiding just out of sight. And then the T69 of the Red GRA was coming around, focusing on the T50-2, and then he was able to sneak up behind him. But sadly, I don't think he was reloaded, because he didn't fire from where he was sitting.
The SG-26 just finished off Colento.
That was a great shot.
That was unexpected.
Yeah. Oh.
Angelo checks at very low HP, but managed to dodge the shot from the artillery. However, not the GW Panther, as he was able to finish off his third target today. Very nice work and very much worth it for the GW Panther.
Yeah, that was a great decision to take him with, because he did take out a full HP AMX 1390 in the middle, trying to go up to the hill and support his teammates up there. So I think that was the real game changer right there, bringing the GW Panther.
Yeah, we've seen both teams that have taken a GW Panther win every game with the GW Panther so far. So maybe the bigger artillery is really worth it on mines.
Yeah, don't underestimate the huge damage and splash, of course, which is greater than all the other small artilleries. So
I'm now wondering if Top here from Push is going to be sitting in the bush and waiting, or actually going to go and try and do something. It's a bit of BM, in my opinion, sitting there and not doing anything while the enemy caps. But they could be talking strategy, wondering what went wrong and talking to each other if they've given up. However, I wouldn't say he needs to give up, because how much health has Minx got? 100 odd. It was 260 last time we saw him. That's one shot if he's good enough, if he gets a good hit. Then the Bison and GW Panther can both be taken out with a good one shot. So there's a chance he could either pull off a draw or a win. So
it would be interesting to see the artillery go at it. Actually, we haven't had one of those.
Well, this is a
games
draw.
where it came down to.
Oh wait, there we go. No longer going to be a draw.
Okay, that was the GW Panther coming up to. Okay, he can actually just go ahead and screw things up for. Well, it is a loss, so we might as well take away the points from Red GRA as well.
Yeah, well,
But how long is
yeah,
the view range on the Su-26? And
waited
it's
far too
just
long. That
yeah,
was silly. That was wasted. Push could have at least got a draw out of that. I think that was an absolute wasted opportunity there. You shouldn't give up. You shouldn't just sit there and give up. That was silly on their part. I think there's no other way to say that, but it was just silly.
silly. It was
Just
silly.
silly.
Oh, 2,700 damage from the GW Panthers. That was definitely worth it again.
Mm-hmm.
Bring that big RD.
The Bison wasn't able to do much, but it was all the GW Panther, basically.
Yeah.
The Su-26 did a reasonable job with 1,108, but it was just that GW. I think Push had it in the bag, and then the GW was like, hey, do you forget about me? Because I think you forgot about me, and they paid for it. They paid for forgetting about the GW Panther.
Yeah. But yeah, that Su-26, even though he only hit 5 shells, it was 1,100 damage. That's quite a lot.
Hmm.
So he missed a lot, but he still did some damage. So that was decent. But the end there, yeah. Well, um, I think maybe he didn't really think it through that the GW Panther would just be rolling up there when the Red Draw saw that the timer on the match was going to be very close. So I think he was just hoping for a draw right there, but he shouldn't. He should never hope for just a draw
No, he should have
on
gone in and
time.
tried to do something, but I guess he was trying to avoid dying.
Yeah,
He was like, hey, I don't want a loss. But you had either a loss or a loss. So if he died, he would lose, but he had a chance of winning, and doing nothing, it was a 100% chance of losing. Did he really think they wouldn't push forward the artillery to help cap? They knew how long the capping takes. They're not
yeah,
going to be foolish enough. I mean, this is GRA, so they're not going to think, oh, yeah, we're going to cap this with this one tank and mistime it. They're going to make
yeah.
sure it works.
Yep, of
So
course.
1-0 towards, or sorry,